Charlie Kirk's assassination spawned a torrent of conspiracy theories across the political spectrum, some from the left, but many from within conservative circles. These narratives range from plausible-sounding speculation to outright fabrications. For example, exploding lapel mic, blood bag, second shooter, or claims that Kirk's widow has intelligence ties. The disinformation wave has real victims: Charlie Kirk's memory, his family, especially his widow Erica Kirk, and the credibility and unity of the conservative movement. Multiple reputable fact checks and the FBI's own statements contradict many of the viral allegations. Here are the major actor types driving the conspiracies with a short explanation of what they gain and how they operate. 1. Click or traffic opportunists, that is, sensationalists and influencers. These are people and channels who manufacture or amplify shocking narratives because outrage and mystery generate views, donations and subscribers. They rarely provide verifiable evidence. They only need enough doubt to spark shares. Fact-check outlets repeatedly show many viral posts had no evidence. 2. Political opportunists or factional agitators. These are actors within political movements who weaponize the event to discredit rivals, rebrand a constituency, or capture a leaderless audience. In this case, some attacks appear aimed at discrediting Turning Point USA or creating an alternate power center for Kirk's former audience. Reporting shows some critics of TPUSA folded the organization into conspiratorial narratives to attract followers. Number 3. Narcissistic attention seekers. These are individuals who amplify chaos to place themselves at the center of the story. They often invent dramatic claims. For example, Kirk was faking it, or the mic exploded, to keep the conversation about themselves instead of the victim. Fact checks show these talking points often lack forensic or documentary support. 4. Bad faith saboteurs. These are actors who appear to intentionally try to tarnish Kirk's reputation and burn the bridges of his movement, sometimes to recruit his followers into rival causes. The hypothesis that some claim to have been close to Kirk and then pivot to attacking his organization is consistent with documented patterns of factional infighting and opportunistic targeting. Number 5. Well-meaning but gullible amplifiers. These are ordinary people who see a sensational claim, want answers, and share it without vetting. Their harm is real. They multiply falsehoods and enlarge the audience for the bad actors mentioned earlier. Fact-checking outlets flag many examples of misidentification and false claims spreading in the hours after the killing. Here is a short list of incentives that drive this behavior. 1. Money and attention. Viral outreach converts fast into hard revenue, donations, subscribers, and brand deals. 2. Audience capture. Kirk's platform had a large, loyal audience. In a leadership vacuum, rivals and influencers try to siphon off followers. Number 3. Political gain. Discrediting Kirk or TPUSA helps factions inside or outside the conservative movement reposition themselves. 4. Narcissistic need for relevance. Being the one who broke the truth elevates some people's status. Number 5. Punitive or vengeful motives. Some bad actors appear motivated by spite, using conspiracy to delegitimize a movement or person. These motives align with observed patterns in the aftermath reporting and social media analysis. Here are some of the major claims and the best available evidence that debunks them. That the lapel mic exploded, squeak, or that it wasn't actually shot. The claim says the visible bulge was a concealed blood bag or special effect. The mic exploded. But the evidence suggests video and forensic analysis cited by multiple fact checkers show the bulge is the mic and that the wound and bleeding pattern are consistent with a gunshot to the neck. Major fact checkers and outlets labeled hoax or false the claims that Kirk was not dead or that a bag was used. 2. That the bullet entry was from behind or there was a second shooter or a different trajectory. The claim here is that the trajectory suggests a shooter from behind or a second shooter. But here is the evidence. Law enforcement briefings, forensic commentary, and press conference details indicate the recovered evidence is consistent with a shooter positioned in the area where investigators focused. Multiple reputable outlets published fact checks showing viral videos were misattributed or taken from other events. Reverse image and video searches proved some proof posts were unrelated footage. The FBI and investigative reporting stressed that early social posts were unreliable, that the shooter had to disassemble his rifle, so it's impossible to flee quickly. The claim here is that the rifle used would have required minutes to disassemble, so the official timeline is impossible. But here is the evidence. The FBI recovered a high-powered bolt-action rifle and explained where it was found. Reporting on the weapon and on the suspect's actions, including messages and physical evidence like a wrapped rifle, counters the must have disassembled claim. Forensic discussion online clarified that field stripping or partial disassembly can be done quickly and that the recovered evidence, that is, towel and screwdriver with DNA traces, fits the investigator's account. The FBI press release and follow-up reporting are the authoritative sources here, that Erica Kirk is linked to Mossad, child trafficking, or banned from Romania. Here is the claim. Wild allegations about Erica Kirk's charity work and intelligence ties. But here is the evidence. Fact checks from different sources and others found no evidence supporting claims that Erica Kirk was involved in trafficking or had intelligence ties, or that her charity work resulted in any official ban. These claims appear to stem from misread documents, out of context claims, and deliberate rumor threads. That AI or deepfakes prove an alternate story. The claim here is that synthetic media proves official accounts false or fabricates new evidence. But here is the evidence. Journalists and technologists warned immediately that AI tools were fueling false narratives and generating imagery and clips that mislead. Different outlets documented how AI amplified false claims in the hours after the assassination. Always treat AI-generated material with extreme skepticism unless provenance is established. Damage to Charlie Kirk's legacy. Repeated unproven attacks and malicious rumors divert attention from Kirk's actual record and the grief of his family, replacing his life's work with partisan spectacle. Viral conspiracies can ossify around the loudest claim, not the truth. Fracture of the right and internal warfare. Conspiracy narratives that come from the right or target right-wing institutions create factional splits, making collective response and leadership succession harder. They shift energy from memorialization or political organizing to internal policing and infighting. Reporting already shows conservative institutions reacting publicly, which underscores internal strain. Harm to the widow and family. Targeted personal attacks, accusing Erica Kirk of nefarious ties of faking grief, are cruel and dangerous. They can lead to harassment, threats, and further trauma. Fact checkers highlighted the volume of false allegations aimed at her. Erosion of public trust. Where political groups become nets for false narratives, trust in institutions, including media and law enforcement, falls, producing a feedback loop that fuels further conspiracy acceptance. Operational interference with investigations. False identifications, misattributed videos, and premature claims can waste investigative resources and complicate prosecution or the arrival of justice. The FBI and local authorities publicly cautioned against spreading unverified materials. Speed is greater than accuracy. Social platforms amplify unverified content faster than fact checkers can respond. AI tools and synthetic media. Easy creation of believable fakes accelerates the creation of visual evidence. Algorithmic reward for outrage. Platforms surface content that drives engagement, not truth. Echo chambers and identity signaling. Conspiracies spread quickly inside groups that are predisposed to distrust outside institutions. Selective sourcing and credential inflation. People present themselves as insiders or friends of Charlie without proof. Appearance of authority spreads belief. Prioritize authoritative sources. Use FBI releases, court filings, established sources, and vetted fact checks before amplifying anything. For example, use the FBI's Salt Lake City field office release and multiple fact checks when evaluating a claim. Label uncertainty clearly. If you present a question, frame it as a question and explain what evidence will be needed to support it. Don't treat speculation as fact. Debunk publicly but with evidence. When you call out bad claims, link to the specific factual refutation, fact checks, forensic analysis, official statements, and so on. This preserves your credibility. Also, protect victims from doxing and harassment. Avoid repeating personal allegations about grieving family members. Highlight that unverified personal attacks cause real harm. Encourage sources to show provenance. Ask for original files, timestamps, raw footage, or chain of custody documentation for any smoking gun. Moderate conversations. Pin a top comment or your own that asks for civil sourced discussion. Educate about AI and deepfakes. Include short guidance in the description or cards about how AI can create false evidence and what to trust. What's happening now is more than wild rumor. It's an industry of grief exploitation. When conspiracies proliferate in the immediate aftermath of a high-profile killing, they not only disrespect the dead and their families, but also weaponize grief to reforge political alliances and monetization channels. It is right to be concerned about right-wing figures pushing theories that damage Kirk's legacy. Those narratives do more than score short-term clicks. They rewrite memory, amplify internal fragmentation, and make it harder for any community to process loss or plan a responsible political future. That is an ethical failure and a strategic one for the movement they claim to defend. Multiple official statements and mainstream fact checks contradict the worst of the viral claims. Those debunks should be front and center in any responsible coverage.